Hey, what's up everybody? Back again here with a very special video I'm very excited to talk to you today about. And that is one of my favorite consoles of all time, the Neo Geo, made by SNK, their one and only console. And I own here the AES, or Advanced Arcade System, the home console. And here it is, a little bit off focus there, but I have it modified in the back here for stereo sound and component output, so it looks really good. It also has S-video compared to the standard composite, this is the Japanese model, and it also is modified with a UniBIOS, which lets you, input sheets, select your region, and it has a lot of nice features on it. First, we'll take a look at some of the controllers. This is the original Neo Geo AES controller that came out. It has a very nice stick here. Buttons feel very nice. This thing is aged beautifully, and it's still one of my favorite arcade sticks to this day. It's pretty light, but it works really well. Then we have the Model 2 controller here, which I think came out with the Neo Geo CD. It's a little smaller, I guess a little more cost effective, but has very nice buttons, has a nice feel to it. I prefer the original stick though compared to this one. So I'm going to show you some of my games today. The Neo Geo also has a memory card, which is pretty cool. It let you switch between the arcade and the home system if you had a save file and went to an actual arcade, but I don't know why you'd ever want to do that. But it's a cool little feature. First I'll go with my MVS cards. I only have a couple of them. First is a Samurai Showdown 2, and one of my favorite games of all time. This is not the actual box, it's a shock box that I purchased, and it's a custom insert, but a very good game. The second MVS card I have is not actually what it looks like on here. This is a custom insert for Garou, Mark of the Wolves, which is one of my favorite fighting games of all time. It's often compared to Street Fighter Third Strike, but I actually prefer this. It's one of my favorite games. Inside here, I have something that a lot of Neo Geo enthusiasts may not support or be against. That is the 101 multi-cart, which has 100 games on it. And I don't know, this thing is really awesome if you're on a budget, and you just want to play the Neo Geo games on the original hardware. It has everything on here, most of the King of Fighters, most of the Samurai Showdowns, Samurai Showdown 5 special. It has Garou, Mark of the Wolves, which is an awesome game, which I don't feel like spending $500 on it, It has Match or Melee. A lot of good stuff on here. It's definitely worth the purchase. But to be able to use these MVS carts, sorry about that, you need to have some kind of converter, and the one I have is the Super Converter 2, which lets you insert the MVS cards, which are made for the actual arcade system, right into your AES home system, as you can see here in the picture. This card goes inside the AES, and then the MVS card goes inside the Super Converter. So now we'll move on to some of my AES games. I'll start with some of the older ones. First we have everyone's favorite platformer, Magician Lord. This is a really awesome game. I mean, it was way ahead of its time. The color scheme is just beautiful, and the game is hard as shit though. I mean, it pisses me off so much. I don't know if it's possible to actually beat this game without cheating. I could beat the first 2 or 3 levels, then it just gets ridiculous. So, I mean, I played through the whole game, but I ended up having to cheat, And it is a really good platformer though. I definitely recommend it. You could pick it up for cheap. Next, we have one of my favorite classics, and that is Nam 1975. And this is a great, I guess you can call it a run and gun, but it's different from Metal Slug. It's really hard to explain. You have to really play it yourself, but it's a great game. It's not that long, because these are all arcade games, but it has really cheesy voice acting, and it's a lot of fun to play. I recommend it as well. Next we have Blues Journey, another of the original release titles for the AES. And it's a fun platformer. You can shrink in size to get into areas that you wouldn't be able to normally fit into. It has some great multiplayer. It actually has a story too, which isn't, groundbreaking by any means, but it's a really fun game too. I would recommend it. Next up, another copy of Samurai Spirits 2 or Samurai Showdown 2, whatever you want to call it. On the AES though, the original home cartridge. And like I said, this is one of my favorite fighting games of all time. I think the Samurai Showdown series went downhill after number 2, but they're all great games. I just prefer number 2, it just brings back the most memories and has some awesome characters. The music, I think, is the best in this game out of any of them, and it was just a blast, hop in and play. Another Samurai Showdown game here, and that is Samurai Spirits or Samurai Showdown 3. Another awesome entry in the series. I prefer 2, like I said, over this one, but this one is another great one. It's my second favorite one. Samurai Showdown 5 Special is another good one, but there were some problems with the SNK removing the fatalities for the home console because of I guess a lot of children were playing it, and it was just too bloody, but there was a fix that you can get, especially if you have Unibios, you can get the fatalities and everything unlocked. This is another SNK classic, King of Fighters 2000, and the reason I bought this one is because it's not included on the 101 multi-cart. I don't know why. It has every King of Fighters except 2000 and 2003, so I picked this one up. I have it on the Dreamcast also, but it's always nice to have the AES cart. Next up is Real Bout Fatal Fury 2, the newcomers, and another awesome game. I have a Fatal Fury Special, or Real Bout Special, I'm sorry, on the Sega Saturn. This game is also awesome. It has some new characters that aren't in the Saturn version, and it's an overall great game. I mean, it's easy to get into, a little harder to master, a little more combo focused than the other Real Bout games, but definitely recommend it. It has some great graphics. Next up, another one of my favorite series, and it is called The Last Blade. This is the first one in the series. Came out, I think, in 1998, and this game is just beautiful. The artwork is beautiful on the case here. You can see it, and in-game artwork and the music, they're just amazing. The gameplay is really balanced. It has some awesome characters, really cool specials. It has a very limited storyline, but that's not really what I play these fighting games for, And finally, we have The Last Blade 2, another awesome game, sequel to Last Blade 1. Once again, beautiful artwork. All these games are complete with the manual and everything. What can I say? I don't have a very big Neo Geo collection. It's something I've always wanted since I was a kid, but I mean, nobody could afford that ridiculous $700 price tag. And the game started at $300. And a lot of the games, today even are still ridiculously expensive. Garou is $500. Last Blade 2 goes for about $200 or $300 even. And the Metal Slug games are just ridiculous. Metal Slug 3, I just saw it on eBay go for about $600 the other day. So I mean, it is nice to have the original carts, and I'd rather play in the original hardware. But there's also a limit. There's a lot of compilations and stuff. But overall, Neo Geo is one of my favorite systems of all time, and I really look forward to collecting more for it and enjoying these games. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.